You know that feeling, right, when you're talking to an AI and you can just tell its knowledge is stuck in the past? Well, that is a huge problem in AI, but a new evolution is here. So let's dive into this next level AI that doesn't just answer questions, it actually reasons, plans, and thinks for itself.
Here's the best way to think about it. A lot of AIs today are like an old car GPS. You remember those? Sure, it knows the roads, but only as they were years ago. It has no clue about the massive traffic jam that just happened up ahead. What we really need is more like the live traffic app on your phone, an AI that sees the world in real time and can instantly find a way around the problem.
To solve this stale knowledge problem, engineers came up with a really brilliant first step. It's a technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or as everyone calls it, RAG.
At its heart, RAG is actually a pretty straightforward idea. You take a powerful language model, which was trained on a fixed set of data, and you connect it to an external knowledge base. It's like giving an AI its own private, always up-to-date library that it can check before it gives you an answer. This makes a huge difference in cutting down on mistakes and makes the AI way more useful.
The process itself is surprisingly simple. First, you take your documents, let's say all of a company's internal reports, and you break them down into smaller, manageable chunks. Then, a special model turns that text into numbers. And finally, you organize all those numbers in a special kind of database, a vector database, that's just incredibly fast at finding similarities. So when you ask a question, the system just zips through, finds the most relevant chunk, and hands it to the AI along with your question.
But here is the big catch. Traditional RAG is a one-shot deal. It's a straight line. It gets one chance and one chance only to find the right piece of information and give you an answer. If that first search isn't perfect, or if the question is just too complex, the system can really struggle. It's reacting, not really thinking. And that exact limitation, that one-shot problem, is what brings us to the next massive evolution in AI. This is the Agentic Leap. And the difference here is like night and day. Traditional RAG is that one-shot reactive process, usually stuck looking at a single source of knowledge. Agentic RAG, on the other hand, is iterative, it's proactive, and it's autonomous. It doesn't just get one try. It can try something, reflect on the answer, and then try again. And it can pull from multiple sources and even use other tools to get the job done right.
So what exactly is an AI agent? Well, it's not just some program waiting for you to tell it what to do. It's an AI with a whole new level of independence. You can give it a goal, and it will figure out how to get there. It can break a big problem down into smaller steps, decide which tools it needs to use, like searching a database or checking an email, and then it just executes that plan, all on its own. It perceives, it reasons, and it acts.
This new level of autonomy just completely changes the game. So instead of that simple linear process, what we have now looks a lot more like an intelligent, coordinated team. Let's take a look at how this actually works.
Okay, this is where the agent's intelligence really gets to shine. It can create its own feedback loop. It'll get an answer and then ask itself, hey, is this actually good enough? And if it finds any gaps or thinks the info might be out of date, it doesn't just give up. Nope, it just goes back and tries another query, maybe a more specific one this time, to get better information. It literally refines its own work, improving the answer with every single cycle until it's satisfied.
And the structure can get even more sophisticated. See, it's not just one agent doing everything. Instead, you can have a controller agent, just think of it as a project manager, who oversees the whole operation. It can delegate tasks to a team of specialized sub-agents. So one might be an expert in financial documents, another in personal emails, and a third in web searches. The controller coordinates all of them to put together the best possible answer.
So when you get right down to it, these agents have some serious superpowers that older systems just don't. They can take a really complex question and break it down into smaller, logical steps. They can use a whole toolbox of external apps, checking your files, your chats, even public databases. They can create and execute these multi-step plans on the fly, and all the while, they are constantly checking their own work to make sure the answer is relevant and accurate.
Of course, giving an AI this much power and freedom isn't without its own set of challenges. This is a huge leap in capability, and that means we also have to start thinking about a new set of risks.
I mean, with this complexity, you get new problems. An agent could get stuck in an endless loop trying to fix an error it doesn't really understand. And trying to debug a whole team of these agents working together, that's way harder than fixing a simple process. And of course, more thinking and more steps means more computation, which, you guessed it, costs more. But the payoff for getting through that complexity is enormous. I mean, just look at this number. Enterprises using these kinds of intelligence systems are reporting that their employees are spending 50% less time just searching for information. That is a massive, massive boost in productivity.
So how should we be thinking about this powerful new technology? Is it going to replace everything we have now? Not quite. It's much better to think of it as a powerful new addition to the AI toolbox.
Agentic RAG isn't here to replace traditional RAG. That method is still going to be incredibly useful. It's fast, it's cheap, and for lots of simple tasks, it's perfect. Agentic RAG is more like a precision instrument. It's what you bring out to solve the really complex, thorny problems that a simple one-shot system just can't handle. It's all about having the right tool for the right job.
And this quote from analyst Andy Thurai really just nails the whole point. He says this is about augmenting humans with agents. The goal isn't to replace a developer, for example. It's to give that developer an AI agent they can outsource work to, freeing them up to focus on the really important stuff. It's a partnership.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? We're on the verge of creating these incredibly capable digital workers. They can already do things like manage customer support or automate knowledge searches. So as they get even smarter, the real question isn't what can they do, but what tasks are we going to choose to hand over to them next? What are we going to build with them? That is a very exciting future to think about.